As she held the shimmering object in her hand, a curious sensation washed over her, a gentle warmth that seemed to pulse with life. Its surface, smooth and cool, reflected not just the sunlight, but a flicker of something deeper, something alluring and mysterious. Colors danced across her fingertips, shifting from deep turquoise to pearlescent whites, each hue telling a story of the river's depths. Her imagination ignited. She felt as if she were holding a piece of the magic that flowed through the water itself. Without a second thought, she placed the object carefully in her pocket and continued her walk along the riverbank. The world around her felt different somehow, as if the air was charged with an electricity she had never noticed before. The chirping of birds and the rustle of leaves became a symphony, harmonizing with the gentle lapping of the river against the shore. Each step felt lighter, and a sense of wonder enveloped her as she mulled over the day's unexpected treasure. Arriving home, she set the object on her desk, where it caught the light again, casting whimsical shadows across the room. With every glance at it, her mind whirled with possibilities. It was unlike any rock or gem she had ever encountered. It felt alive, as if it thrummed softly with a heartbeat only she could sense. She spent the evening lost in thoughts of adventure and mystery, imagining the stories this magical object might hold. Later, as night cloaked the world in darkness, she decided to take another look. She leaned over, her heart pounding with anticipation as she examined the intricate patterns etched across its surface. The colors shimmered even more brilliantly in the candlelight, revealing faint, swirling designs that resembled ripples coursing through water. Fascinated, she traced a finger along them, feeling an unexpected connection, a tether to something beyond her simple life. Just then, a gentle breeze fluttered through her window, causing the object to shudder and roll slightly. Startled, she leaned in closer, feeling an odd vibration resonating from it. Was it her imagination playing tricks, or did the object thrum in response to her touch? She felt a compelling urge to connect with it, an almost desperate need to uncover its secrets. With a shrug of her shoulders, she whispered softly to the object, treating it as if it were an old friend with countless stories to tell. That night, as she drifted into a restless slumber, her dreams took her to the riverbank again, but this time everything felt different. The water glowed with an ethereal light, and strange creatures danced just beneath the surface. Shadows shifted in the depths, and she caught glimpses of something else, something magnificent and enchanting. It was as if the object had unveiled a new world previously hidden from her view, one filled with wonders she could scarcely comprehend. When morning broke, she awoke with the first light filtering through her curtains, vibrant, memories of the night flooding her mind. The object was still there, glowing faintly as if beckoning her to discover more. Unbeknownst to her, she had embarked on a journey that would intertwine her fate with the mysterious being she had unknowingly carried home, igniting a series of events that would forever alter her perception of reality. As the mermaid broke the surface, droplets of water cascaded from her iridescent body, catching the golden rays of the sun like tiny jewels. A gasp escaped the girl's lips, half in wonder and half in disbelief. Memories of her grandmother's tales flooded her mind, stories filled with magic and folklore, whispered on stormy nights when the wind howled outside. Now, in this sunlit glade, those tales crystallized into reality. The mermaid floated gracefully, her long hair swirling around her like a silken veil. Each movement she made sent shimmering ripples across the surface of the water, dancing in harmony with the sunlight. The girl couldn't take her eyes off the mesmerizing creature, her heart racing with the thrill of the unknown. What was this being? What history did she carry within her shimmering scales? Tentatively, she leaned closer, the cool mist of the lake brushing against her skin. The mermaid's gaze met hers, deep oceanic eyes sparkling with ancient wisdom and youthful mischief. It felt as if the air between them crackled with unspoken understanding. There was a connection, a shared moment that transcended language, a silent confirmation that they were meant to encounter one another. "Who are you?" the girl found herself whispering, her voice a soft lilt, barely a ripple in the quiet of the moment. The mermaid's lips curled into a gentle smile, revealing pearly white teeth that glinted in the light. With a graceful flick of her tail, she submerged for a brief moment before reappearing with a delicate conch shell cradled in her hands, its surface gleaming with hues that shifted like the tides. "I am Alara of the waters," the mermaid spoke, her voice melodic, akin to the sound of waves lapping against the shore. "Guardian of these depths, keeper of forgotten tales." The girl felt the warmth of a smile bloom on her own face, transfixed by the beauty and mystery of Alara's words. There was something enchanting about the way she spoke, as if every sound she made carried echoes of the ocean, vast, boundless, and teeming with life. "What stories do you hold?" the girl asked, emboldened by the enchanting atmosphere. "Stories my grandmother once told?" With a glimmer of recognition in Alara's eyes, the mermaid nodded, her expression shifting to one of nostalgia. "The maritime tales of old are laced with truth, woven into the very marrow of existence. They belong to us all, neighboring worlds intertwined." Alara gestured toward the water, her fingers trailing through the currents, creating spirals that glimmered with iridescent colors. "Watch closely," she beckoned, "for this lake is a portal to all that lies beneath." With bated breath, the girl obeyed, focusing on the deepening waters as shadows began to swirl and take shape. Flickers of fish dancing joyously, whispering secrets, and echoes of laughter from ages past resonated beneath the surface. Suddenly, a school of small fish darted playfully near the shore, their scales catching the light and scattering it like a prism. But it was not the fish that held her attention. Rather, it was the feeling that thrummed between them, a bond that transcended myth and reality, drawing the girl deeper into this hidden world. As nightfall approached, the dance of twilight enveloped everything in soft hues, and their shared moment felt like the closing curtain on the stage of enchantment. The story had just begun to unfold, and she was ready for the adventure that lay ahead. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the surface of the water. She could still see the mermaid gliding gracefully just beneath the ripples, her iridescent tail shimmering like precious gems. It was a mesmerizing sight, one that seemed to pull her deeper into a world where the ordinary rules of existence no longer applied. Not just a chance encounter, but a kindred spirit, an invitation to explore the uncharted waters of friendship. As her fingers grazed the cool, wet sand, the girl began to mimic the mermaid's fluid movements. She laughed as she swirled her arms, splashing droplets across the surface, each splash almost a bridge forming between their worlds. The mermaid mirrored her, twisting and twirling, her laughter bubbling up like the froth of the waves. It was a dance of innocent joy, both of them caught in an ethereal moment of unity. There was an enchanting simplicity in their interaction, as if time itself paused to give them space to explore the bounds of their newfound connection. The air vibrated with the sound of chirping birds, and the gentle whisper of leaves swaying in the breeze, enhancing the realm they created together. With a newfound courage, she ventured a step closer to the water, letting the cool splash against her skin. But the mermaid, ever perceptive, darted back, splashing playfully as if teasing her to join in the fun. She held her breath for a moment, weighing the risk of treading into deeper waters, but exhilaration overwhelmed her hesitance. As the girl submerged her legs into the river, another ripple of laughter echoed from the mermaid. They soon fell into a rhythm of gestures, each point and flick of a hand a sentence, each giggle a paragraph. The girl found herself sharing stories of her life on the riverbank, pantomiming the mundane details of her daily routine, a series of chores that felt so trivial compared to the magical creature in front of her. She felt silly and lighthearted in drawing out her experiences, reveling in the feeling that the mermaid understood her, even without words. In return, the mermaid began to reveal her own world, a cascade of glimmering shells and the tales of her ocean home. With a flick of her wrist, she conjured a water bubble, which floated effortlessly to the surface, glistening like a tiny globe encapsulating fragments of coral and tiny fishes. The girl watched, wide-eyed, as the mermaid gestured towards the horizon, mimicking waves with her hands before dramatically diving deep into the water, her tail flicking out of sight. The connection deepened with every splash and twirl, and they created a bridge over which camaraderie flowed. It was in these moments, filled with laughter, that she could see beyond the surface. There was wisdom in the mermaid's emerald eyes, and she wondered what ancient stories lay hidden within her vibrant soul. The girl, enraptured by the wonder of it all, felt the weight of her own world slip away, replaced by the thrill of sharing dreams and unspoken adventures with her astonishing companion. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, bathing everything in a warm glow, she realized that this unlikely bond was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey that lay ahead. The world transformed as twilight deepened, stretching the shadows that danced lazily on the sand. For her, the melody of the waves became an enchanting lullaby, urging her to linger just a while longer. Clutching the delicate seashell necklace, she admired how the shells captured the fading glimmers of sunlight. Each tiny spiral and smooth curve carried the whispers of the ocean, a symphony of secrets shared under the waves. With every breath, she inhaled the salty air, committing the moment to memory, envisioning how it would feel to return home with a piece of the sea wrapped around her neck. As she walked along the shoreline, her heart quickened at the thought of the mermaid who had gifted her this enchanting accessory. She replayed the encounter over and over in her mind, the moment their eyes had met and the spark of understanding that had flowed between them like an electric current. The necklace was a bridge not just of physical distance, but of worlds that were never meant to touch. She kissed the shell pendant lightly, a smile gracing her lips. Unbeknownst to her, each heartbeat amplified the magic woven into the necklace, igniting threads of destiny barely visible to her youthful eyes. Having reached her cozy cottage just beyond the tree line, she switched on a small lamp that cast a warm glow over her cherished collection of seashells and other ocean treasures. Its soft light mingled with shadows, creating an intimate sanctuary, a sanctuary for secrets. She placed her newfound necklace carefully atop her dresser, the shells glinting mysteriously in the lamplight. The air was thick with the scent of ocean mist and salt, but it also carried the weight of her secret. This was a bond only she understood, a story only she could tell. But as the evening deepened into night, the intrigue of the necklace morphed into a persistent hum in her mind. Tucked away in her heart, the pull of the ocean grew stronger, beckoning her to return, as if the very essence of the mermaid waited to be rediscovered. Her dreams that night were woven with images of shimmering scales and playful frolics under the waves. The mermaid's laughter echoed in her ears, enchanting and haunting all at once, an invitation intertwined with a warning. In the morning, with the first light of dawn spilling through her window, she awoke to the pulsating desire for adventure. The seashell necklace sparkled on her dresser, and she could almost hear the ocean calling her name. Was it folly to think that wearing this charm would let her experience the magic of the mermaid's world? With a sudden resolve, she decided that today would not be just another day. It would be the day she dared to unlock the door her secret had crafted. Little did she suspect that the magic she longed for was not merely a whimsical flight of fancy. Its influence was substantial and deep-rooted, ready to weave her life into an intricate tapestry of myth, adventure, and perhaps danger. The waves were alive, whispering her name, revealing a world painted in hues she had never imagined. As she ventured out, the air thick with anticipation, she knew that everything was about to change. Her connection to the ocean, to the mermaid, no longer just an echo of curiosity, but the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The days passed, each one unfurling like the petals of a rare blossom. The necklace, now a part of her essence, seemed to pulse with life, as if it were attuned to her very heartbeat. Every time she gazed into its depths, she felt an echo of the ocean's whispers, a beckoning that sent her spirit soaring. As if by some unseen force, the world around her blossomed with vibrant hues, a riot of color that transformed the landscape into a fantastical realm. Trees swayed with a rhythm that mirrored her excitement, and the scent of damp earth mingled with fragrant blooms, creating an intoxicating perfume that enveloped her senses. She found herself wandering deeper into the woods, where sunlight filtered through the canopy in ethereal beams. The creatures she encountered revealed an unusual awareness, their eyes shining with a knowing that sparked her curiosity. Squirrels chattered animatedly, as if sharing secrets about her journey, while birds danced in the sky, their songs weaving melodies that resonated within her soul. It was as if nature had awakened, not solely in beauty, but in a concerted effort to guide her forward. On one particular day, as she sat by the lakeshore, the water glimmered with a surreal luminosity, echoing the colors of the sunset. She felt an inherent pull, much stronger than before, urging her to seek the depths of this enchanted waterscape that now held an undeniable significance. The moments she had spent watching the mermaid beneath the surface now felt like pieces of a larger puzzle, and she longed to delve deeper into this mystery that bound them together. As she gazed into the shimmering surface, there she was, an iridescent flash of silver and turquoise. The mermaid emerged from the depths, her silhouette framed by the sunlight dancing on the water's surface. Their gazes met, and in that instant, a torrent of emotions surged between them. The mermaid's eyes held the ancient wisdom of the sea, deep and unfathomable, while her own heart raced with anticipation of understanding this connection that had formed so seamlessly. There was a longing, a delicate communion that transcended words. Each time their eyes locked, the world around them fell away, and the space that formed between them pulsed with electric energy. The mermaid's hands moved gracefully through the water, creating spirals of light that hovered in the air before dissipating into shimmering specks. It felt as though she was inviting her into a world of secrets, of stories untold. In that moment, time stood still, and she understood that the journey before her was laden with a purpose yet to be revealed. It was about more than just the bond they shared. It was about the magic that resided within both of them, waiting to unfurl and ignite their destinies. With each encounter, the line between the mundane and the magical blurred further. In this beautiful chaos of existence, she found herself evolving, awakening to a truth she had yet to fully grasp, a truth that would bind her fate to the depths of the ocean and the mysteries that sprawled beyond the horizon. As she drifted through her daily life, the luminescence of her newfound joy was undeniable, painting her world in vibrant hues. Every morning seemed to greet her with a radiant smile, and she began to appreciate the beauty in things she once overlooked. The way the sunlight dappled through the leaves, the gentle rustle of the wind, the laughter of children playing in the distance. It was as if a veil had lifted, and she was suddenly awake to the magic that had always surrounded her. Her friends, who had once seen her as a quiet observer, now found her to be a source of infectious enthusiasm. However, amid their warm smiles and supportive gestures, faint notes of concern began to echo through her circle. Emily, her closest companion, was the first to voice what many were pondering. In a hushed tone over a cup of herbal tea, she took a deep breath, her eyes clouded with hesitation. "Have you considered that maybe this friendship is, I don't know, a bit unusual? I mean, a mermaid. It feels like a beautiful dream, but dreams can twist, can't they? The way Emily's brow furrowed revealed her genuine worry, but all it did was bolster her resolve. Wasn't magic, by its very nature, a leap into the unknown? She laughed lightly, shaking her head with a sense of defiance. It's not just magic. It's a connection. You should see the world through her eyes, Em. There's so much more out there than we could ever fathom. Yet, beneath her confident exterior, subtle ripples of doubt washed over her like a fleeting shadow. The stories she shared unfolded like petals in spring, bursting forth with tales of wonder, the adventures they had shared, secrets whispered under the canopy of stars, the way the mermaid's laughter echoed against the rippling water. They were tales woven with joy, but her words were also tinged with a desperate need for understanding, as if she herself needed to convince them, and perhaps even herself, of this extraordinary reality she had embraced. While she reveled in the vivid dreams and spun golden threads of imagination, a lonely echo of isolation shadowed her heart. Friends murmured about her unusual fixation. Family members exchanged concerned glances, their eyebrows knitted in apprehension. She might be losing her grip, her brother had said late one evening. We can't let her drift away completely. Yet their worries felt distant, like the faint sound of an ocean's waves, a sound she longed to hear again, not just through words, but in spirit. With her heart beating in tandem with the rhythm of the river, she clung to one unwavering truth. Each moment spent with the mermaid sparked a dawning realization, a truth that shimmered like sunlight beneath the surface of the water. What her friends perceived as a potential danger was, for her, an enchanting journey into the depths of her own being. With each day that passed, she delved deeper into the beautiful unknown, allowing the curiosity that had been tucked away to flourish like a wildflower in sunlight. Bound by the threads of magic she embraced, she could not, and would not, turn back. As she sprinted along the familiar path, the ferocity of the storm intensified, drowning out the sound of her own heartbeat. The wind howled through the trees like a desperate spirit, beckoning her to turn back, but she pressed on, each stride fueled by an instinct that screamed for her to reach the river. She had felt it in her bones, a tremor of urgency that resonated within her as the skies unleashed their wrath. With each gust that whipped against her, she could almost hear the distant echoes of laughter shared with her mermaid friend, now overshadowed by the potential danger lying just beneath the surface. Her feet pounded the muddy ground, shoes squelching as they battled against the chaos of nature. The river, usually a tranquil companion, now roared like an angered beast, its waters churning violently, obscuring whatever once lay peacefully within its depths. Panic threatened to suffocate her as she navigated the debris strewn along the bank. Branches twisted like a labyrinth, and the muddy soil made each step precarious. The warmth of her friendship with the mermaid ignited a fire in her, making the treacherous terrain seem insignificant. Against the dark clouds overhead, she squinted toward the river, searching for a familiar flash of iridescent scales or a flicker of shimmering hair caught in the dim light. The chaos of the storm transformed the familiar landscape into a wilderness of thundering sound and swirling shadows. Her heart sank as she took in the scene before her, an upheaval of nature that threatened to consume everything in its path. The last time she had seen her friend, they had promised each other countless adventures, never imagining that distance or disaster could tear them apart. As she approached the water's edge, her urgency crystallized into determination. The current shifted abruptly, swirling debris like wild spirits trapped in a whirlwind. A pulse of energy resonated through her, as if the river itself called to her, guiding her actions. Emotions bubbled up, a mix of fear and hope, woven tightly together. She grounded herself, recalling the mermaid stories of the river's secrets and the power hidden in its depths. This bond fueled her resolve, reigniting her belief that she could make a difference even amid chaos. "Come on," she urged the wild waters, feeling an odd connection with nature, a shared urgency woven into the storm's fabric. With a cautious step, she knelt at the edge of the river, studying the roiling surface for any sign of life. She whispered her friend's name into the wind, almost hoping the sound would break through the storm's fury. For her, it was no longer just an act of desperation. It was a promise made to protect a friendship that transcended the boundaries between their worlds. Suddenly, a shadow darted beneath the surface, a glimmer of silver slicing through the dark maelstrom of water. Her breath hitched. Was it her? The thought ignited a surge of adrenaline as she prepared to leap into the unknown, propelled by the instinct to save the one soul she couldn't bear to lose. It was now or never. The mermaid was calling, and she had to answer the call. The river churned beneath her, dark and relentless, a tempest of uncertainty that threatened to swallow her whole. As she stood at the edge, the roar of thunder echoed the volatility of her thoughts. Each droplet of rain that cascaded from the heavens felt like a judgment, as if the universe itself was weighing the options before her. With her heart racing, she sought clarity in the chaos, her mind racing to make sense of every intertwined thread of her reality. In the days leading up to this moment, the magic of her newfound abilities had felt like a dazzling gift. Walking through the streets of her quiet town, she'd felt invincible, the power to bend reality coursing through her veins. Every glance from her friends had sparkled with the thrill of shared secrets, and the laughter they had experienced together felt like the buoyant lift of a summer breeze. Yet now, standing on the precipice of choices, she felt a profound absence, a longing not just for the warmth of friendships, but for the authenticity of her existence. How had she begun to believe that the two worlds could coexist without sacrifice? Her thoughts flashed to her. Friend, trapped in a dark realm where shadows ruled and laughter was but a distant echo. Memories of their shared moments flooded back. Late-night conversations under a blanket of stars, whispered hopes and dreams, and the companionship that had anchored her in moments of doubt. To save her friend would mean embracing the arcane, diving headfirst into the mystical abyss where danger lurked, and the familiar warmth of friendship could be extinguished by the very forces she sought to command. The wind whipped around her, stinging her cheeks as she contemplated the depth of her choice. She thought of all those times when fear had paralyzed her, moments when she'd stepped back instead of forward. But this was different. This was about love, about loyalty that eclipsed her longing for a mundane life. Could she truly live with herself knowing that her hesitation could cost her friend everything? With each pulse of the storm, some ancient instinct stirred within her, urging her to trust in the magic that had first brought her to this point. As the river swelled and writhed, its surface darkened by the tempest, she closed her eyes and painted a vivid picture in her mind. A vision of her friend, smiling and whole, their eyes sparkling with the same joy that illuminated her own heart. That flicker of hope cut through the noise, a beacon calling her to action. A decision crystallized in her mind, firm and unwavering. She would not allow fear to dictate her future. Taking a final deep breath, she opened her eyes and gazed into the tumultuous waters, recognizing that she was not just standing at a crossroads, but on the threshold of a transformation. With courage swelling in her chest, she stepped forward, her heart echoing with the determination to dive into the raging current, to confront whatever lay beneath. Armored by love and resolution, she would fight for both worlds, ready to weave her destiny into something extraordinary.